Welcome to Communicate in English with Class. Speak clearly.
Think globally. Communicate with confidence.
Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head late at night, wishing you had said something completely different?
Oh, I think everyone listening right now is nodding their head, Marcus. We've all been there. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking, why did I say that? Or why didn't I speak up when I had the chance?
Exactly. You stayed silent, you overthought your words, you nervously checked your phone instead of joining the conversation, and later you regretted it. You wished you had just spoken with confidence.
Today, we are breaking that cycle. Welcome back to Communicate in English with Class. I'm Clara.
And I'm Marcus. In this episode, we aren't just giving you normal language tips. We're going to share the single best piece of advice I ever received. Advice that completely changed my career, my relationships, and how I speak.
And trust me, guys, you want to stay until the very end, because midway through, Marcus is going to share a secret phrase that instantly stops people from interrupting you. But first, Marcus, let's talk about why we get so terrified of speaking up in the first place.
To understand this advice, I have to tell you a story about a young man named David. A few years ago, David got his dream job at a top media company. He was incredibly smart. On paper, his ideas were brilliant, but in real life, during every single meeting, David sat quietly in the corner.
Let me guess, he was waiting for the perfect moment to speak?
Exactly. He would look at his notes, write down a great idea, open his mouth, and then close it. He thought, what if my English isn't perfect? What if they think my idea is silly? Meanwhile, other people with half his talent but twice his confidence, would speak up and get all the credit. David felt invisible. He was drowning in his own silence.
That breaks my heart because it's so relatable. He was experiencing what we call analysis paralysis.
Yes, let's look at that phrase, analysis paralysis. It's a beautiful, powerful term. Analysis means thinking deeply about something. Paralysis means being unable to move. So analysis paralysis is when you think so much about making a mistake that you become completely frozen. You do nothing.
Have you ever felt that? You want to order food, ask a question at work, or talk to a stranger, but your mind just gets frozen. David was stuck in that loop until his mentor, an older manager named Sarah, pulled him aside after a meeting. She looked at his notes, saw his incredible ideas, and gave him the advice we're talking about today.
The powerful vocabulary word, analysis paralysis, noun. The state of overthinking a situation so much that a decision or action is never taken.
Example, I wanted to join the conversation, but I had analysis paralysis.
Let's do a quick role play so our listeners can hear how this actually looks in a real workplace or everyday conversation. Clara, let's imagine you are a busy manager and I am a hesitant team member who's trying to beat this analysis paralysis.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, team, we need a new marketing idea for the summer project by Friday. Any thoughts?
Clara, I actually have a small idea about using social media videos, but, well, it's not completely finished yet.
Go ahead, Marcus. We just need rough ideas right now. Okay, we could make short 15-second helpful tips for our audience. I haven't figured out the exact schedule, but I think it could build a lot of trust.
I love that. Simple, direct, and helpful. Write down a quick plan and send it to me. Notice what Marcus did there? He didn't wait until he had a flawless, perfect presentation. He shared a raw, unfinished idea. And that brings us to our first major psychological truth of the day.
Most people believe that confidence comes first and then you speak. They think, when I am perfectly confident, I will talk. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Speaking creates confidence. Action comes first, the feeling follows.
That is a life lesson, not just an English lesson. Sarah told David, your ideas don't need to be perfect to be valuable. Stop trying to be flawless. Just be helpful.
It completely transformed David's life. But what happens when you do speak up and someone instantly disagrees with you or corrects you? How do you handle that without feeling embarrassed?
We're going to look at the exact phrase to handle disagreements smoothly in just a few minutes. But first, let's talk about the second piece of this formula, the fear of making a mistake. Marcus, let me ask you a question. Have you ever sent a text message or an email and then noticed a typo or a small mistake a minute later and your stomach just dropped?
Oh, absolutely. You feel a sudden flash of heat and you think, oh no, now they think I'm unprofessional.
Right. We treat mistakes like crimes. We think that if we use the wrong tense or mispronounce a word, the listener is judging us harshly. But let's look at how real humans actually communicate. When you talk to your friends in your native language, do you use perfect grammar 100% of the time?
Never. We cut sentences short, we use slang, we change our minds mid-sentence.
Exactly. So why do we expect our English to be a flawless textbook? This brings us to a beautiful word that can change how you view your communication: vulnerability.
And here's the new powerful vocabulary word: vulnerability. Noun. The willingness to show your true self, including your mistakes and flaws, without hiding.
Example: speaking a new language requires vulnerability, and that is a sign of strength.
Let's see how a confident person handles a clear mistake during a conversation. Clara, let's say we are caught in a casual chat at a coffee shop or a networking event, and I make a common grammatical slip.
So Marcus, how long have you lived here in the city?
I am living here since 3 years. Oh, sorry, my bad. I have lived here for 3 years. Still waking up this morning. Need more coffee.
I feel you. I can't even speak my own name before my first cup of coffee. 3 years is a long time, though. Do you like the neighborhood?
Look at what happened there. I made a mistake, I corrected it quickly with a smile, and I didn't let it ruin the mood. I didn't apologize like I committed a crime. I just said, my bad, or still waking up.
Here is the psychological truth for you. People do not care about your perfect grammar. They care about how you make them feel.
That is so true. When you're completely focused on your own grammar, you aren't listening to the other person. You're trapped in your own head. But when you accept your vulnerability, you allow yourself to connect with the human being standing right in front of you.
It's a total game changer. Now, remember earlier I promised you a secret phrase that stops people from interrupting you? It's a psychological trick that makes you sound instantly authoritative, even if you're feeling nervous inside.
We are going to reveal that exact phrase next, along with the final, most emotional part of the advice Sarah gave to David. Stay with us. So, let's go back to David. He started using this advice. He stopped waiting for his English to be perfect. He started speaking up in meetings even when his ideas were rough. But one day, during a big project review, a very loud colleague interrupted him mid-sentence.
Oh, that is the worst feeling. You finally find the courage to speak, and someone just cuts you off and talks over you. What did David do?
Before he met Sarah, David would have just shut his mouth, lowered his head, and let the guy take over. But Sarah had taught him a specific phrase. David paused, looked the colleague in the eye, kept his voice calm and polite, and said, "I'm almost finished. Let me just wrap up this thought."
Wow, that is incredibly powerful, because it's not rude, but it sets a firm boundary.
It changed the energy in the entire room. The colleague stopped talking, nodded, and said, "Go ahead." David finished his point, and that project became a massive success for the company.
The phrase he used has a great key word we need to look at: to wrap up.
Yes, to wrap up is a phrasal verb. It simply means to finish or conclude something. Teachers wrap up a lesson, business people wrap up a meeting, and speakers wrap up a thought.
The powerful vocabulary phrase: to wrap up, phrasal verb, to finish, conclude, or complete something.
Example, let me just wrap up this point before we move to the next topic.
Let's practice exactly how to use this phrase naturally so our listeners can use it the next time someone tries to talk over them. Marcus, try to interrupt me while I'm explaining something. So, my main suggestion for the new website design is to make the font bigger so that older users...
Actually, I think we should focus on changing the background colors first because colors attract you.
Marcus, I'm almost finished. Let me just wrap up this thought, and then I'd love to hear your take on the colors.
Actually, I think we should focus on changing the background colors first because colors attract you.
Marcus, I'm almost finished. Let me just wrap up this thought, and then I'd love to hear your take on the colors.
Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
Thanks. As I was saying, making the font bigger helps with readability. Now, Marcus, what were you saying about the colors?
Notice how Clara didn't get angry. Her tone was steady. She used the phrase to politely protect her space.
And here is the life lesson behind that. You do not need permission to take up space in a conversation.
Let that sink in for a moment. You don't need anyone's permission to speak. Your voice belongs in the room just as much as anyone else's.
We've covered a lot today, Marcus. We talked about David, we learned how to beat analysis paralysis, we looked at the power of vulnerability, and we learned how to wrap up our thoughts with authority.
But as we finish today's episode, I want to leave you with the absolute core of the advice that Sarah gave to David and that I want to give to you today.
Please share it, Marcus.
The world does not reward the loudest voices. It rewards the clearest voices.
So beautiful.
Your ideas matter. Your unique experiences matter. The perspective you bring to this world is something nobody else can offer.
Please do not wait for perfect English to start sharing who you are. If you wait for perfection, you will be waiting forever.
Let people hear the value, the intelligence, and the heart that is already inside you right now. Speak with your mistakes. Speak with your accent, but speak.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on Communicate English with Class. If this episode touched your heart or gave you a little bit of courage today, please share it with one friend who needs to hear this exact advice.
Drop a comment below and tell us, what is the best advice you have ever received? We read every single one.
Until next time, keep speaking, keep growing, and communicate with class. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.